All right, first hole out at Woodley Golf Club in the Valley. Pretty hot day out. First hole here is really short, simple par 4, definitely a birdie hole. Driver's just always going to be a pretty solid club for me. I wish I hit it about 20 yards longer like everybody else, but I'm probably more of a straight ball hitter, kind of working it off the tee. So don't get to really take advantage of the openness here. At the same time, I kind of know I'm going to have a pretty easy day off the tee. So fine drive, hit it solid, driver swing feels great. Left myself like this little 50-yard shot, no trouble, super basic. But I do know my tendency here is to kind of decel, kind of chicken out. And it's something I definitely want to work on, being a little more aggressive, trusting this 50-yard number. I actually thought I hit it really solid, but just checked up, a little slow. I've played Woodley before, so no excuses. I know these are pretty slow greens, but definitely need to work on that yardage. Not something I have a lot to because I don't play this course a ton, but definitely would like to be a little better with that 50-yard shot. So left myself like 15 feet, 20 feet up the hill, something I would love normally. And apparently I decided to lay it up to like 4 feet short. Don't know what that was about. At this point, without warming up, I don't know if that was a me problem or the greens are that slow. But end up with just like this 4-footer straight putt for par. And not exactly what you want to see on the first hole of an easy course. 3-putt bogey. Really flat greens, which kind of good and bad because you just, a course like this, you get confused. It's so open, it's so flat, and you start seeing things and losing focus. So probably the big challenge here is just picking off really good shots, visualizing when it's nothing to visualize. Second hole's par 4, downwind. We end up going to the back tees because it's just pretty short. Driver's going to be good, so I'm not worried about it. The hole plays like 330 downwind. Probably plays shorter because I almost get this onto the green. And I don't hit at 330 as much as I wish I did. But with my length, I don't have to worry. All the trees out there kind of aren't in play. As long as I hit it decent, I'll be past them and have a shot. So it gives me the freedom on the drive. You'll see I'm kind of walking back here. I do like to kind of walk to the flag and back anytime I can, even like 60 yards away, really, sorry. But I like to do it, I like to feel it. I like the pacing it off more than the yardage on the rangefinder for some reason. But simple pitch, 25, 30 yarder, kind of hit my stock pitch where I'm not really lifting at it. It's like a 1-to-1 carry to roll ratio. So if I carry it 10, it's going to roll out about 10. Just something I can visualize, get the ball in the green, rolling like a putt. I expect to make some of these, or at least have them rolling towards the hole as if I had some type of plan. So would love to get that stroke back early with a 1-putt. Love to hit a good putt here. Got another 5, maybe less, 5-footer for birdie. I did manage to get it to the hole, which is really impressive, but didn't make it. Had to tap it in for par. Kind of a rough start at Woodley because you could easily birdie, or at least birdie one of the 2 first holes, and I didn't. So I feel like definitely have some things to work on. If anything, just dealing with pressure and decision making. I don't feel like I have made a good decision or swing yet, and those two kind of go hand in hand. Third hole is a par 3. I'd probably say it's the hardest hole on the front. Into the wind, I guess it's still incredibly wide open. You could miss 80 yards left and be fine. You could top it and be fine, but hopefully I don't do either of those two things. So we got 194 in the wind, playing like 210. I tried to hit like a flighted 3-iron, and I hit it a little lower, almost pulled off the top shot there than I wanted. And you can see I give it some body English kind of when I don't love shots, and I'd also like to work on that. But happy to be pin high. Once again, you'll see I'm kind of trying to stay out of his way, watch people's lines, but then just pacing it off, kind of getting a vague number. I don't love this lie, and you'll kind of see the club, when he moves, you'll see my practice swing, the club gets kind of stuck in the grass. I'm really trying to drive it down into the grass, knowing that the club's going to get kind of stuck. So it's more of a poppy chip here. But came out great, slowed down right before the hole, and kind of a nice, easy, stress-free par, which is good to have, especially on par threes, where par is always a good score, especially when they're in the 200-yard range. You're just trying to get your three and get out of there. And so par fives, really, especially at a course like this, you're trying to definitely have shots, get some shots back. You should definitely have shots at the green and under regulation. But it's a dog leg to the left, wind's kind of into us. Been hitting mostly like straight ball drives with a little bit of a fade. I could have hit that shot here if I wanted, but I thought I'd kind of shape a little draw off the right. And so again, you'll see I give it some body English, kind of overdrew it. Don't know if I'm like happy I hit the shot I was trying with too much, or if I should have just kind of played my stock. And so I've been raving of the openness of this course, and then you get out here, and of course, fourth hole, I'm directly behind one of the 4 trees out here. So I debated for a second with the lie. It kind of was a fade lie, and if I wanted, I could have kind of thrown a fade out over the out of bounds and prayed, but I figured I'd just kind of like hit a little hook. Didn't come out perfect. I wish I could have hit that like 15 more yards. It left me this shot. If the flag sticks, you can kind of see it's under this big tree. So I have to hit kind of a high draw 5-iron, like 190 into the breeze. And it was probably the best swing I've made so far. The 3-iron on the previous hole I didn't hit solid, probably overswung that 5-iron. I just, nice and easy, caught it too well. So really was a confidence building swing, even though the result wasn't ideal. Pitching's been pretty good from this point. Still probably sticking to my stock little 1-to-1 head high pitching. Even though I didn't make it, really happy with the pace, the line. Would have been great to get that birdie in there, but just left myself like 4 feet for par. Definitely want to start being firmer at this point because I've seen how wiggly these greens are. So really just tried to go firm and straight. And missed it. So 2 over at Woodley through 4 is not what I had in mind. And I'm also starting to find that I do not like the flag sticking. It's amazing how it kind of makes you feel on those short putts. It's almost like sometimes I try to miss the flag stick because I've seen it bounce out so many times now, even though they're in. But 5th hole, did make a good swing with the 5-iron. So at this point, I kind of know the game's going to be good going forward. Once again, driver probably always going to be pretty good, but at some point I'll probably need to raise my expectations, start picking up some more yardage, especially watching Bryson DeChambeau now. I think you're going to have to hit it like 360 just to keep up. Luckily, I already have the body type, so shouldn't be hard. But back-to-back, somehow I found the second tree at Woodley. Just inside 100 yards, obviously. I wouldn't say I work on this shot ever, but I kind of know a half-swing 7-iron back stance is my 100-yard low shot. Of course, if I had to go through a bunch of rough or something, it'd be different, but just like 100 yards of 7-iron, I can hit it really low. I know about how far it rolls, but I don't work on that shot really. I just know it and trust it, and I think a shot like this too, even if I didn't execute it I wouldn't beat myself up. Like, we have to be good with our time and our practice. I don't have time in my day to hit 2 buckets of that shot when I need to work more, probably on the 3-iron. So 25-footer down the hill, if there is down the hill at Woodley. But kind of feel like things are kind of coming in, 4 or 5 holes in, kind of warmed up finally. And so hit a pretty good putt. There's a little celebration. So probably didn't expect birdie on this hole, but very happy to get it. Happy to make a long putt. You definitely need some of those to have decent scores. Moving on, 6th hole. Everything's feeling pretty loose, but of course, at this point, I probably wish things felt tighter. I wish I could aim a little more and not just aim left center and rip it all the time. But here we go, left center, rip it. I want it to fade. It does. End up with a pretty simple wedge, 100 yards. I think it was even less. I think it was 80 yards into the green. So wind's kind of going left. Green kind of tucks to the left. So I just want to kind of aim at that palm tree just to the right of the flag. Little wedge. Really, this proximity should be starting to close in on like a 10-foot zone. A lot of back to front on the green. I'm not really worried about it spinning off though at this point. Solid wedge. Need to tighten it up a little bit. I feel like it's kind of loose. End up once again though, 20-footer. Had a bunch of these. Usually I'm just trying to get these high side past the hole. Really any shot, pitch shot, always trying to get it, be a little aggressive. You can always see the break on the way back too. So again, a downhill putt, 20-footer, and it just won't go. So end up like a 2-footer, just tap in for par. And you can kind of see it like rattles off the stick again. That's, I think, where that scar tissue comes from, of those 3-footers that you're making but missing. It's crazy. But swing's feeling great. Par 3, 158. Wind's just going a little to our right. Especially after that good 5-iron on the par 5, I kind of know I don't have to overswing today to get my yardages. So really good smooth swing for me. Left leg's clearing a little bit better. Distance control is kind of coming around about pin high. So again, I got like a 20, 25-footer maybe up the hill or whatever, down the hill at Woodley. A flat 20-footer. I've made one of these, so at this point, confidence is still rising, game's feeling good. It's an impressive moment. I think I actually get this one past the hole, which is great. Almost made it. Good putt, but any par 3, once again, I'm really par. I'm happy. I don't need to make birdies on all the par 3s to have a good day for me. So 8th hole is a par 5 on the scorecard, but probably more of a long par 4 in reality. 493 on a hot day. Little dog leg left, but I would also say this course is open enough. You don't really need to shape it. You could hit a fade if you want and be in perfect position. And so the reason I say it's kind of like a hard par 4 is if I'm hitting driver 8-iron, like I just can't think of that really like a par 5 for me. But I could use the strokes right now, so on the card we're definitely going to call it a 5. Got to hit a little bit of a draw though, so I'm really just, only thing I can't do is hit this tree directly in front of me. That's the only really bad shot. I could top it, I could push it, I'll have a chance at it. I haven't been hitting a lot of big draws recently, so everything's been kind of going straight, maybe even a little fade. I tried to work it over there, but just kind of hung out right. Pitching's been good though, so maybe I can make a birdie here. Same, you'll see I'm kind of pacing this off. Only good news is I missed to the side with tons of green to work with, so I could, really hit any pitch I want, but unless I have to, I really just fall into my stock 1-to-1 pitch. It's the one I have the most distance control over and the most practice with, so I just fall back on this unless I need to go high or low. And so head high, 30-yard pitch. You can see the excitement again from everybody. I managed to pitch that in for eagle, but really happy, just happy to know I stuck with it, didn't give up after being 2 over through 4, the easiest holes out there. It always feels good to, make an eagle. Par 4, 9th hole, probably the hardest par 4 on the front. Luckily, I'm hitting it far enough now where I just kind of clear the trouble on this hole. If you hit it a little bit shorter, there's definitely like a tree that traps you at like 250, 260, maybe even 270. And if you're behind that tree, you're kind of in trouble where you may even want to lay up way back. But I know I can cover all the trouble, so out comes driver again. Little left side fade. If anything, just kind of want to keep building up the speed. Start getting that left leg to clear a little better. So hop and skip. Good drive. Real good drive. Into the wind. End up here like 115. But easy look at it. I'm at that point, I'm not gonna hit those carts to the right or anything. I know I'm gonna hit a pretty straight wedge shot. Just want to have good distance control, not overswing, be smart. So solid. I like the distance control here. I still need to get my proximity a lot closer on these wedge shots. 20 feet's okay with 8 iron, but with a wedge I'd love to get that into like that 10 foot zone. Even 15 foot zone would be huge through the day, but 20 footer, pace was good. Finally coming around here, 9 holes in, end up with like this 4 footer. Just felt like tapping one in all the way for some reason. And there's the front 9 at Woodley Lakes.